In this episode, I want to share with you why I started with minimalism. And the reason I started was because I was tired of cleaning unnecessary junk. And this was especially true with my daughter's toys. She wasn't even a year old, and from gifts and the things that we bought her and the things that just ended up in our house somehow, she just started having so much stuff. And she would just take everything and throw it on the floor, and neither her nor I wanted to clean up after, and she wasn't really even playing with anything that we had. Around this time, my husband and I had to travel to New York for work, and we lived there for about 6 months, and that's when we decided to get rid of absolutely everything that we had. We either donated, sold, or just got rid of it. And we only got the essentials when we got there. And as far as my daughter's toys, we only had a couple of books and a couple of dolls and some puzzles, and that's all she had. And this was when I started realizing that she started playing, imagining, and just being really creative with the little things that she had, and that she didn't need a lot. However, because she did have so little, I also started noticing that she started playing with things that weren't really safe for her age. She was only 18 months, so she was still putting things in her mouth, and I knew that she needed things that were safe for her to play with and that were okay for her to play. At this time, I was pregnant. We had our baby boy, and that's when we moved back to Miami. When we moved back to Miami, that's when I decided that I wanted her to have toys that she could play with, but I wanted her to have toys that were, first of all, well-made and that sparked creativity, and I still wanted to have very few things. Not as little as we had when we were in New York, but definitely not as much as we had when we were in Miami. I am now seeing how my daughter and both my daughter and my son are playing with these things for so long, and they are starting to imagine and be creative and play with each other. And I do see how not having so many things has actually allowed them to play for longer stretches, and it has proved my point of that this actually does work. After my experience in New York with living with less, I realized how much simpler life can be and how we can really appreciate the beautiful things that we have when we don't have so many things. That's our story, and that's how we started with minimalism.